Well, hello. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm making a chicken cordon bleu casserole for my bonus son, Brad. We're headed over there in just a little bit. And anytime we go over to his house or he comes here, I always try to make a casserole for him. He's a single guy, and let me tell you, when he gets some home cooking, he is so appreciative. He does a lot for us, so we're appreciative for him too. Now, this is kind of a deconstructed chicken cordon bleu. And I've got a package of chicken tenderloins, and I'm layering the bottom of my pan with them. In a lot of recipes for chicken cordon bleu casserole, you'll see that they say to use cooked chicken, and you can definitely do that. But if you have the time to cook these chicken tenderloins, it makes such a good casserole. I'm not a huge fan of twice cooked chicken. I feel like it's already a little on the dry side, and when you cook it twice, it really gets dried out. And these tenderloins cook so fast that they're perfect for a casserole like this. Now I've just lined them on the bottom of my pan, and I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of salt over the top. Brad loves chicken cordon bleu. It is one of his favorites. It happens to be one of his dad's favorites too. I'm just going to hit this with a little black pepper. And this is going in the oven while we make our cheese sauce. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. And I'm just going to let this cook while I'm making the cheese sauce. That way it takes even less time in the oven. So there we go. Now let's get started on this sauce. I've shredded an 8-ounce package of Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese is the cheese used for cordon bleu, or a Monterey Jack cheese works really good in this casserole, but I'm going to keep it traditional. And I've got 4 tablespoons of salted butter, and I'm going to melt that. One of the reasons why Brad enjoys a casserole so much is because he can eat on it for a couple of days. He can come in from work and heat it up, and it's ready to go. That's just about melted. Now I've got a cup of plain Panko breadcrumbs, and since they're not seasoned at all, I'm going to add just a little pinch of salt. And what I'm going to do is take a little bit of this butter, about half, and pour it right into my breadcrumbs. And I'm going to let these sit until I'm ready to use them on top of my casserole. Just want to mix that together. And if you wanted to make just a super keto friendly casserole, you could definitely leave off the breadcrumbs, but they are in chicken cordon bleu, so they're going on top of my casserole because I know Brad is not doing a keto diet. Okay, my butter has melted, and I've got a tablespoon and a half of flour, and that's going right in. And I want to cook the flour taste out before I start adding my milk. So that's going to take about a minute. All right, take a look. This is just what I'm looking for. Now I'm going to add my milk. I've got 2 cups, and that's going right in. Nice and slow while I stir. I have my heat on about a medium heat just so my butter would melt and my flour would not burn. But I am going to turn this up just a little bit and let this milk and flour and butter get nice and thick. It's going to create kind of like a bechamel. And as soon as this starts thickening, we're going to add this cheese. Look how nice and rich and thick this sauce is getting. This is the perfect consistency. It's still just not on the thin side, but not on the super thick side. But it will be once I add this cheese. And almost all of this cheese is going into our dish. I'm gonna save just a little bit, and I'll show you what I'll do with that in a minute. I'm just gonna stir this in, and look at this beautiful, beautiful cheese sauce. Oh, Brad is gonna love this. I made one of these last week for Jimmy, my husband, and he absolutely loved it. It was an absolute hit. Now I have some Dijon mustard. This is a stone ground Dijon mustard, and I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons. I like the stone ground because it's pretty. I just like seeing those little pops of mustard seeds in there. And I'm gonna stir that in. Look how thick this is. And that's why we didn't want that bechamel to get too terribly thick. Ooh, 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 that looks good. There we go. Now, I am going to add some salt to this. I would suggest that you taste it and you add the amount that you want. I am going to go with just a good, healthy couple of pinches, not quite a teaspoon. And look how thick that is. But listen, after it bakes in the oven with the chicken and the ham that we're about to add, it gets the perfect consistency. Trust me. My goodness. That's so good. I mean, that is really, really good. Now, let's get the chicken out. Now, the chicken is not cooked by any stretch of the imagination, but it's gotten a nice head start. And what I'm going to do is add some diced ham. I love this stuff. I use it in omelets. I use it in recipes, casseroles such as this. Sometimes I'll put it in my biscuits when I'm baking them and just have a ham, cheese, and buttermilk biscuit. Oh, so good. Now, I'm going to add about a cup, and I'm sprinkling this right over the top. That looks just right. And the ham is also going to add a little bit of a salty to this cheese sauce. And look at this. See how the chicken is turning a nice opaque color? That is just right. Now, let's get this cheese sauce in. This is going right over the top. It's really amazing, honestly. Trust me, it will not have the same pull, this cheese pull, once it cooks with the chicken. If you're cooking with already cooked chicken, a shredded chicken, then add some chicken broth, and that way you'll add a little bit more moisture. But since I'm cooking my chicken all in one dish, that chicken is going to release its juices and it will make this perfect. I'm going to spread it. Oh my goodness. That looks so good. Okay, I told you I was saving a little bit of cheese, and I'm going to go ahead and put this right on top. And last but not least, we've got our breadcrumbs. And by the way, the recipe will be in the comments. Check the comments. Easy, easy thing to make. Even great for entertaining. Now I'm just going to spread these out. And voila, we are done. Now this is going back in the oven, 350 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes. It just depends on when this starts getting nice and bubbly towards the center. The chicken is halfway cooked. I just poured that hot sauce over it, so it's going to cook a little more. So it doesn't need a ton of time in the oven. The last one that I made took about 35 minutes, and I think this will be about the same. There we go. Well, I'll clean up what little mess I have, and this will be ready in a few. Oh my goodness. I wish you could smell my kitchen right now. It smells amazing. Look at this. Pardon bark. Honey is protecting our household, as she does. Now this is super hot. As you can see, I just pulled it out of the oven, but my husband's going to be here in just a few minutes. And normally I would let this sit for at least 10 minutes before I serve it, but we've got to get going. And I want you to see this. Look at that. See how I told you about that sauce and how that chicken just makes it the perfect consistency? But you know, there is no way that I would bring something to someone's house and tell them to eat it without tasting it myself. I just think that that is my job. You're always to taste your cooking. Let's see. Ooh. That's hot, y'all. And it is also delicious. Oh my goodness. This recipe is such a winner. You have got to try it. Listen, I've got to go. I've got to pack this up. We've got to hit the road. You are a blessing. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Press that like button. Share it with your friends. You know, as I always say, the more the merrier. Well, until next time.